Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dakira and I'm a dietitian that helps women to heal from recurring vaginal infections as well as iron deficiency, anemia, and other chronic women's health conditions. So if you are into all of that, subscribe to the channel and make sure that you share with friends and family. And this video specifically is going to be on uterine fibroids because there is a correlation between uterine fibroids and iron deficiency, anemia, painful periods. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to be talking about what causes uterine fibroids, why they keep growing, why they're so painful, and why low iron can actually make them worse, because most women are not told that fibroids are connected to hormones, minerals, stress, inflammation, and liver health, and it's not just your genes or having bad genes. So to get into this video, what are fibroids? And for those who don't know, I'm looking at my notes. Fibroids are non-cancerous growths inside of the uterus made of smooth muscle and connective tissue. So imagine a uterus like an open space and there's like these blockages on them. That's basically what fibroids are. You can imagine it as like a rock climbing wall where you have like those rocks on the wall, and it's like kind of in the uterus itself, it blocks the flow of blood. So it can cause blood stagnation. It can cause excessive blood clotting, heavy periods, more cramping. It can cause your stomach to be extended. It can cause bloating. It can cause a whole wide range of symptoms. But they're extremely common, especially in Black women, and they're influenced by hormones, inflammation, and nutrient deficiencies. They're also not random. They respond to signals in the body. So conditions are never random. It's always triggered by something, and oftentimes it's been an accumulation of things over time that have then end up leading to this condition. So symptoms women experience with uterine fibroids are heavy periods, blood clotting, because the blood flow is not straight when there's those fibroids blocking it. So the blood kind of has to figure out how to travel through the rocks, as you can say, or the fibroids, to get down. And when the blood gets stuck, they form into clots. And then because they form into clots, your brain has to signal to your uterus to push it out by telling your brain will tell your body to produce more prostaglandins, which is a pain chemical that basically makes your uterus contract. And that's what causes the excessive cramping and the excessive clotting as well. Also, pelvic pain or pressure, back pain, frequent urination, bloating, painful sex, iron deficiency, anemia, fatigue, and dizziness. So for example, fibroids change, I actually didn't mention this already. Fibroids change the way your uterus contracts and sheds blood, which leads to heavy periods and big drops in your iron levels. So now how low iron can make your fibroids worse. Low iron equals low oxygen, and when your uterus doesn't get enough oxygen, it has to basically work harder to push your blood out, and it has to contract. So because your uterus has to work harder to contract, one, this causes more cramps, and two, it causes more pressure on the fibroids, and it causes the fibroid pain to increase. Iron deficiency also leads to uterine hypoxia, which means that your uterus is basically starved of oxygen, and the tissue basically becomes fragile and weak, and it has to work harder. And that's what causes those labor-like contraction period cramps that you may experience, and just really, really painful periods that involve nausea and vomiting. My last video was on the correlation between iron deficiency, anemia, painful periods, and vomiting on your period. So if you vomit on your period, check out that last video. But low iron also increases inflammation because it weakens your uterine lining. But when you have any mineral or vitamin deficiencies, it's always going to cause inflammation because your body needs it. If you're deficient, your body needs it, and you don't have enough, so your body has to compensate and work around in order to make up for it, and it causes more inflammation in your body. It weakens the uterine lining, and it also causes heavier bleeding, which then makes your iron drop even lower. And then it becomes a cycle because fibroids causes heavy bleeding. The heavy bleeding causes anemia, and the anemia worsens the fibroid pain because the anemia causes the uterine hypoxia, which basically means that your uterus is starved of oxygen, so it has to work harder, which means that it's pressing on the fibroids even more, and that causes more of the fibroid pain. So it's literally a vicious cycle of the fibroids causing the heavy bleeding causing the anemia worsening your fibroid pain, and it just continues. So now, what causes fibroids? So many women are not told about the root causes of fibroids. They just know that it's genetic and because they're Black, they have it. And some women now are aware of the fact that vitamin D deficiency can cause fibroids. But when it comes to fibroids, there's lots of things that doctors don't usually tell you. Number one, chronic inflammation. So if you have a diet or a lifestyle that's really inflammatory, so ultra processed foods, lots of alcohol, no water, lots of juice, heavy sugary foods, things like that, you'll know if you're eating a really inflammatory diet, or having an inflammatory lifestyle where you're drinking, you're smoking, you're not sleeping, you have high stress levels. These all cause inflammation. Estrogen dominance feeds fibroids and it allows them to grow. So if you have estrogen dominance, you'll be able to know this by one, going to your GYN and getting a sex panel done and get your estrogen levels checked. Or you can get a Dutch test, which is basically like this functional medicine hormonal test that usually naturopathic doctors will perform, or functional medicine doctors. That test is for other hormones besides just estrogen, and it gives you like a deep dive into your hormones. So if you need to get to the root cause of any hormonal imbalance at all, a Dutch test is going to be your best bet. Regular doctors don't offer them, so you need to see a specialist like a naturopathic doctor or a functional medicine doctor or a functional medicine dietitian. And it typically is an out-of-pocket cost. From my knowledge, I've never seen insurance covers it, but I think it may range between $300 to $400. I'm not sure. So do your research with that. It's called the Dutch hormone test. Estrogen dominance can also come from constipation because excess estrogen is released through our poop. So if you're not pooping every single day, then you're storing estrogen in your gut, and that's going to cause estrogen dominance. There's other hormonal imbalances as well that will contribute to estrogen dominance, but constipation and other things as well. Poor liver detox is another cause of fibroids, and that will also lead to estrogen dominance as well. So if your liver is sluggish, then that can also lead to fibroids, because liver is the number one detoxing organ besides your skin. So your liver, if it's not detoxing properly, it may be recirculating old hormones and toxins back into the body that can contribute to fibroid growth. You also have mineral deficiency. So minerals are basically essential nutrients that we need, meaning that it's essential that we get it through our diet because we don't produce it ourselves. And so if you have mineral deficiencies in iron, magnesium, copper, things like that, that's going to cause the fibroid growth, especially low iron, because it can aggravate your uterus as well. High prostaglandins. So prostaglandins are the pain chemical that our brain produces and tells us to release when we have to push something out of our uterus. So high prostaglandins is what causes cramps and contractions, and they're basically like inflammation chemicals. You also have insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is basically when your body is resistant to insulin. Insulin is a hormone produced by the pancreas that basically keeps our blood sugar in a check and balance system with another hormone called glucagon. So when we eat, our blood sugar spikes, insulin is released by the pancreas to bring it back down to normal. When our blood sugar is low, glucagon is released to then bring our blood sugar back up to normal limits. So insulin and glucagon are both like a check and balance system for your blood sugar. So insulin keeps your blood sugar stabilized. And this is why when people have diabetes, prediabetes, PCOS, insulin becomes resistant because of inflammatory conditions in the body where it no longer works. And so your blood sugar is chronically spiked and insulin is not working to bring it back down. So because your blood sugar stays spiked, then that's what causes people to get the diabetes and the kidney disease and going on dialysis and all those things. So insulin resistance is basically when your body is resistant to insulin working. Then of course you have stress and cortisol dysregulation. Guys, look at my cat, she's pissed. Then you have stress and cortisol dysregulation. So your cortisol level is your stress hormone, and your stress and your blood sugar are directly linked. So when you have high cortisol, you have high blood sugar. When you have high blood sugar, you have high cortisol. This over time will lead to low-grade inflammation, but also lead to insulin resistance, and that can lead to fibroids because of low-grade inflammation. Gut issues because of estrogen recirculations, like I told you guys before, with your gut, you want to be going to the bathroom at least 1 to 2 times a day, because if you're not, your gut is holding on to excess hormones that's being recirculated in your body, and that can be what's causing the fibroids as well and the estrogen dominance. And then lastly, you have environmental hormonal disruptors like plastics, fragrances, xenoestrogens, which are basically these chemicals that come on fast fashion clothes that are made of like polyester and things, elastane, things that come from like Shein and Temu and Fashion Nova, all these places. Xenoestrogens are naturally found on these chemical-based fabrics, and it can be absorbed into your skin, and it can also cause estrogen dominance as well. So fibroids are hormonally reactive, and they specifically react to excess estrogen and inflammation. And fibroids are also sensitive to certain triggers. So fibroids flare when your internal environment is off, and they're sensitive to things like low iron, when you have high prostaglandins, liver congestion, estrogen dominance, inflammation, stress, travel, and sleep disruption. That's why your symptoms may get worse during stressful seasons, during travel, during injury, or when your routine is off. But you can significantly reduce these triggers and these symptoms through your diet. You can actually heal and reverse fibroids. You can heal your uterus completely and naturally without surgical intervention, without doing anything drastic. It can just be through diet and lifestyle changes. Because as your minerals and your hormones restabilize, your fibroid growth will shrink and reduce dramatically, and it actually eventually disintegrate, which is what eventually you would want to get to. So before we even get into how to heal your fibroids naturally, you guys know that I help women to heal from recurring vaginal infections. So if you or anyone you know deals with recurring yeast infections, BV, UTIs, or unknown pH imbalances, then I highly recommend that if you have an issue with your vagina, you don't know what it is, then go to my link down below for Evie and get $20 off of your first Evie order. Evie is an at-home vaginal microbiome testing company that tests for over 700 microbes that normal GYN does not test for, and they test for things like Candida glabrata, which causes yeast infections that your doctor does not test for. It tests for things like Gardnerella, which is a BV-causing bacteria. That's what I had for 2 years before I knew it, and then I took the Evie test and I realized that I had it, and I was able to heal myself in 7 days because I knew exactly what I was targeting, and I targeted it and I healed within 7 days. So if you want to get to the root cause of your recurring vaginal infections, use my Evie link, and to heal, you can watch all the YouTube videos I have on vaginal healing, as well as purchasing my 30-day Vag Reset ebook that gives you the 30-day protocol that I followed to heal. I ended up healing way faster in 7 days, but I still stayed on the 30-day protocol just to get my body back on track. Like I told you guys, I healed really, really fast. And if I was able to heal within a week, then so can you. After dealing with a 2-year-long recurring pH imbalance, it doesn't matter how long you've tried. It doesn't matter what you tried. If nothing worked for you, my book is going to work for you, period. Because I teach you the nutrition, the stress, the nervous system regulation, the sleep that you need. I put you on a 30-day mindset, subconscious reprogramming protocol, and it goes over esoteric and spiritual teachings as well. So that book is down below. And I'm also releasing an iron ebook as well, an iron recycling ebook. So when I do release that, it's going to be linked in the comments. So how to begin healing fibroids naturally. Number 1, restoring your iron and your other minerals. So if you are low in iron, of course, and before taking any supplements, always check your labs first, check with your doctor to make sure that you're not sufficient, because if you are sufficient, then taking more can lead to overload. So just be mindful, because this is just education purposes only. But restoring iron and other minerals, if you're deficient, so iron, magnesium, copper is another one, because when you're oxygenated in your uterus, you have less pain, and when you have more minerals, you have more balanced hormones. You want to support your liver. This looks like eating more bitter greens like dandelion, arugula, chicory root, or taking bitter supplements. Like they have bitters that you can take that can be really helpful. Lemon water supports your liver. Dandelion root tea, I drink that every single day. It's a natural diuretic, so it helps to flush you out by going to the bathroom, but also helping to support your liver, as well as reducing alcohol or cutting out alcohol completely, and also reducing or cutting out added sugar in general. You can also do castor oil packs for your liver, which involves you ordering an organic castor oil pack. It's like a cloth, and you would have to get organic cold pressed castor oil. You would soak the cloth in that and wrap it around your stomach, and you would put a heating pad on top because it helps with improving liver circulation, to help with your liver detoxification. It also can help improve your gut health, going to the bathroom, and just supporting your natural detox process. You also want to reduce estrogen dominance by increasing your cruciferous vegetables. So broccoli, kale, and cabbage. This can look like you adding these vegetables to each of your meals. So maybe for breakfast, you have eggs with broccoli. Maybe for lunch, you have something with a side of kale. Maybe for dinner, you have cabbage soup with meat or something. I'm just giving examples as to how you can add these vegetables into your routine. You can also blend these vegetables into a sauce. You can blend them into a smoothie. It doesn't matter, but as long as you're incorporating these cruciferous vegetables, it's going to help reduce the estrogen dominance. With the dandelion root tea, I don't drink it as a tea always. I just put it in my water bottle so it can steep out because it works the same way as tea. It just takes longer to steep, but it still works. You also want to lower inflammatory foods to reduce estrogen dominance. So your intake of high sugary foods, highly processed foods, alcohol, things like that, like your fast food, like your Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Wendy's, all that stuff, Chinese food, pizza, all those things. It's okay to have them in moderation, but you want to lower them significantly. So if you're having them like multiple times a week, you want to lower it to maybe once a week, and then eventually maybe to once every 2 weeks, and maybe eventually once a month. I personally don't eat any fast food anymore. Occasionally I do eat pizza or Chinese food, but that's like once a month. Honestly, it's not really anything often. And you want to reduce plastic and fragrances. If you want to use fragrances, it's best to use the fragrances on your clothes and not on your skin. When it comes to plastics, you can aim for glass dishes or ceramics. That's like a whole other video on its own, but you can look up natural cookware or kitchenware to reduce that plastic exposure. You can also get clothes that are 100% organic cotton, hemp, wool, or linen. Those are natural fabrics that have no chemicals on them as long as they're 100% organic. Otherwise, if you're shopping at places like Shein or Temu or fast fashion clothing, those will most likely have the xenoestrogens on them. I was told if you wash these clothes in apple cider vinegar or in baking soda, not both at the same time, it'll help to eliminate those excess chemicals on the clothes. So you can try that. 4, you want to lower your inflammation through consuming omega-3s. This can be done through fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, tuna, herring, sardine. This can also be done through pasture-raised eggs, grass-fed butter, olive oil, avocado oil, nuts and seeds, avocados, nut butters. These all will help you with omega-3s, or taking an omega-3 supplement or a cod liver oil supplement. Consuming turmeric and ginger. This can be like you adding turmeric and ginger to your meal, like the dried spice, or getting the actual turmeric and ginger root and consuming that as a tea, or you could add it to your drinks, or you can blend it into daily shots to take every single day. Whichever way in which you can incorporate turmeric and ginger, the better. Every day I drink a carrot, turmeric, ginger, pineapple juice because that specific juice recipe is helpful for fibroids. So carrot, ginger, turmeric, and pineapple. So if you want to make it yourself, I would get the fresh ingredients, a fresh pineapple, a fresh carrot, or carrots, fresh ginger, fresh turmeric. If you're not able to get the fresh version, you can do dried ginger powder, dried turmeric powder. You can do 100% pure pineapple juice, not from concentrate, no added sugar. Same thing with carrot juice, and you can blend it that way as well. But that recipe specifically targets fibroid and estrogen dominance. So I drink that every single day. You can do that as well. You can also incorporate turmeric and ginger through a golden milk tea, which is basically a milk tea where you combine milk or dairy-free milk with cloves, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, cardamom, whatever spices you want, and a teaspoon of turmeric, and you would also add some honey. So it's basically like a honey turmeric milk tea latte. So you can find a recipe for that online. You would also add black pepper because black pepper helps with the absorption of turmeric. You also want to lower your consumption of seed oil. So seed oils have a bad reputation, but no one really explains it correctly. So the reason why seed oils have a bad reputation is because seed oils are high in omega-6s. Omega-6s are pro-inflammatory. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. So you obviously want to consume more omega-3s than omega-6s, but omega-6s are still essential for our diet. We still need them, but just in lower amounts. And we need omega-3s in higher amounts. So you want to consume more omega-3s versus of the omega-6s, but a lot of people consume more of the seed oils because they're things and fast food or ultra processed foods or snacks like cottonseed oil and grapeseed oil and I forgot the other ones, but yeah. So as long as you have more omega-3s than omega-6s in your diet, you're good. So just lower your consumption of seed oil and increase your healthy fat oils like your avocado, your olive oil, your coconut oil. But with coconut oil, also be mindful that coconut oil is high in saturated fat, which we need for hormones, but we don't want to overdo it on the saturated fat either. And then lastly, support your gut health through probiotic-rich foods, prebiotic-rich foods, also diversifying your fiber intake, diversifying your plant intake. So legumes, grains, nuts and seeds, fruits, veggies, the more you can consume of those, the better. The more diversity in that consumption, the better. The more colors from fruits and vegetables, legumes and grains, the better, because each color is a different antioxidant that provides a different nutrient. So the more diversity in your diet, the better. 5, another way to naturally heal your fibroids is through managing stress and your cortisol. So this looks like breath work, because breath work literally controls your nervous system. Your breath can either activate your nervous system to the sympathetic, which is that fight or flight survival mode response, or your breath can deactivate it and activate the parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest, which is the healing state that we need to be in order for our bodies to heal. So the less stress, the more and faster we're able to heal. The more stress, the less faster we're able to heal. So the more you can get into a parasympathetic state, your body can heal faster. That's why sleep is really important. Napping, not stressing, managing your anxiety through things like breath work, meditation, yoga, walking, grounding, EFT tapping, Tai Chi, whatever relaxes you, as long as it's not something that's inflammatory like alcohol. It's going to be really, really important for you, for your nervous system, because your nervous system directly controls your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone. And when our stress hormone is spiked, that leads to low-grade inflammation. It leads to more diseases. It's literally the seed for disease when you're stressed. So if you're a person that's always overly agitated, you're always anxious, you're always stressed, you're always pissed off, maybe you might be a bitch. I don't know. But if you were always stressed, you're really like staticky, always in a fight, like you get mad really easily, you have to learn how to really control those things, because that is going to dictate your nervous system state. It can lead you to being in fight or flight survival mode, which is the state in which your body has a really hard time healing in and causes more inflammation and more diseases. You can also manage stress through gentle exercise, like I said before, your sleep hygiene, nervous system regulation techniques. Lastly, you really want to focus on healing your gut. So I mentioned earlier what to do for that, probiotics, the prebiotics, the diversifying your intake of fruits and vegetables and things like that. This will also help to reduce bloating, constipation, and estrogen recirculation. So your uterus actually responds really fast to internal changes. It's just a matter of being intentional about what you're doing. You don't have to cut out all these foods. Just focus more on adding in nutrients and lowering the less nutritional, the less nutrient dense foods, the foods that are less nutrient dense. Yeah. So fibroids shrink and they eventually disintegrate when your inflammation drops, when your blood flow improves, when your estrogen levels become balanced. So just support your body in all the ways that I just taught you to, and your fibroids will disintegrate over time, and you can literally manifest having a healthy uterus. I also do have a fibroid healing subliminal on my YouTube channel. If you're unfamiliar with what subliminals are, they're basically audio messages that have affirmations wired into them that directly bypass your conscious mind and maybe wire your subconscious mind for healing, because your subconscious mind dictates and runs your whole entire life. And your subconscious mind's job is to perform confirmation bias, meaning it controls and confirms all your thoughts and beliefs to be true. Even if your thoughts and beliefs are negative and they don't serve you, your brain will prove you right because of the reticular activating system in your subconscious mind performing confirmation bias. So if you change your thoughts and beliefs, you will heal faster. But if you have thoughts and beliefs that don't serve you, such as my fibroids are huge, I have fibroids, it runs in my family, I'm never gonna heal, it's impossible to heal. Whatever beliefs you have that don't serve you in regards to your fibroids, if these are your beliefs in your subconscious mind, your brain's always going to prove you right. So you can use my fibroid subliminal to help you heal All you have to do is listen to it, and that's it. It's wired. It has at least 100 affirmations that helps you to target your subconscious mind with new affirmations, new thoughts and beliefs that support fibroid disintegration, and also a healthy uterus in general. Literally, the instructions as to how to use this subliminal is in the video itself, but all you have to do is literally just listen to it, and that's it. So that concludes today's video. I hope this helped you all significantly with learning how to heal your fibroids. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for my next video. Bye, everyone.